Imagine leading one of the most powerful empires the world has ever known, an empire under constant threat from war, disease, and political unrest. Now imagine doing this while also wrestling with your own personal losses, doubts, and struggles. This was the life of Marcus Aurelius, one of Rome's greatest emperors, but also one of its most thoughtful philosophers. Born in 121 CE, Marcus didn't set out to be a philosopher. In fact, he inherited the throne in a time of great turmoil, and much of his reign was consumed by warfare and disaster. Yet through all of this, he remained deeply committed to his personal philosophy, Stoicism. Stoicism was a school of thought founded in Greece around 300 BCE. It teaches that the path to happiness lies in accepting what we can't control and focusing instead on our own actions and thoughts. Marcus Aurelius didn't just study Stoicism, he lived it. He turned to its teachings in the quiet moments of his reign, writing down his reflections in a series of journals that would later become meditations. These writings were never meant for anyone else's eyes. They were simply notes to himself, reminders of how to live a virtuous life despite the chaos around him. But today, these reflections offer us a rare glimpse into the mind of a leader who sought to rule not through power, but through wisdom. In this video, we'll dive deep into the key ideas of Marcus Aurelius's Stoicism. We'll explore how these principles can help us face the challenges of modern life, just as they helped him navigate the storms of ancient Rome. At the heart of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy is a simple but profound idea. We can only control our own minds. Everything else, external events, other people's actions, even our own bodies, lies beyond our power. This is known as the dichotomy of control. It's the foundation of Stoic thought, and Marcus constantly reminded himself of this principle in his writings. "You have power over your mind, not outside events," he wrote. "Realize this, and you will find strength." What he's telling us here is that true freedom comes not from controlling the world around us, but from mastering our own responses to it. Think about how often we waste energy on things we can't change, whether it's worrying about someone else's opinion, stressing over a situation at work, or even dwelling on mistakes from the past. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to let go of all that. By focusing on what's within our control, our thoughts, our actions, we can achieve a kind of inner peace no matter what's happening around us. This idea is as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. In our daily lives, we face constant pressures, from work, from relationships, from society. But when we remember the Stoic principle of control, we can step back from those pressures and ask, what part of this can I actually influence? Often, it's not the situation itself that's the problem. It's how we choose to react. For Marcus, this was a daily practice. He didn't expect perfection. Instead, he treated each moment as an opportunity to exercise control over his own mind, and we can do the same. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this something I can control, or is it something I need to accept and let go of? It's a simple question, but it can completely change the way we experience stress. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on death, not as something to fear, but as a guide for how to live. In Stoicism, there's a concept called memento mori, which means remember that you will die. For Marcus, this was not a morbid obsession, but a reminder of life's impermanence and the importance of using our time wisely. He wrote, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while you live, and it is in your power." This isn't about fearing death. It's about understanding that our time is limited and that we should live with purpose, making the most of every moment. In our modern world, we tend to avoid thinking about death. We fill our days with distractions, pushing away thoughts of mortality. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that by embracing the reality of death, we can live more fully. When we acknowledge that life is fleeting, we stop procrastinating, stop wasting time on trivial things, and start focusing on what truly matters. This idea can be incredibly liberating. Think about all the things we worry about: money, status, approval from others. When we remember that none of these things will matter in the end, we can let go of them and focus on living a life that's true to our values. For Marcus, that meant living with virtue. For us, it might mean spending more time with loved ones, pursuing meaningful work, or simply being present in the moment. By reflecting on death, we can cultivate gratitude for the present. We stop taking things for granted, and we start appreciating the time we have. So the next time you find yourself caught up in worry or frustration, take a step back and remember, life is short and every moment is precious. For Marcus Aurelius, the highest good wasn't wealth, power, or pleasure. It was virtue. The Stoics believed that the only true path to happiness was through living a life of moral excellence. For Marcus, this meant being just, courageous, disciplined, and wise. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is a reminder that external circumstances don't determine our well-being. It's our inner virtue that matters. No amount of success or material wealth can bring lasting happiness if we're not living in alignment with our values. In Stoicism, virtue is seen as the only true good because it's the only thing we have complete control over. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we choose to respond. And in every situation, we have the opportunity to act with integrity, kindness, and wisdom. Marcus believed that living virtuously was not just a personal duty, it was a way to contribute to the greater good. He saw himself as part of a larger whole, and he understood that his actions had an impact on the world around him. This sense of interconnectedness is a key theme in his writings. He often reflected on the idea that we're all part of the same human community, and that by acting virtuously, we're helping to create a better world for everyone. In today's society, where success is often measured by wealth, status, and material possessions, Marcus Aurelius's emphasis on virtue offers a refreshing perspective. He reminds us that true happiness doesn't come from external achievements, but from living a life of integrity. And that's something we can all strive for, no matter our circumstances. Marcus Aurelius believed in the concept of logos, the rational order that governs the universe. For the Stoics, logos was the force that created and sustained everything, and it was also the source of reason and logic in human beings. By understanding and aligning ourselves with this natural order, we can live in harmony with the world around us. He wrote, "Everything that happens as it should, and if you observe carefully, you will find this to be so." This idea reflects a deep trust in the universe, that even when things seem chaotic or unfair, there is a larger order at work. Marcus believed that by accepting this, we can find peace in any situation. This doesn't mean we should be passive in the face of injustice or hardship. It simply means that we should accept what we cannot change and focus on doing our best within the circumstances we find ourselves in. For Marcus, this was a way to stay grounded, even in the midst of great challenges. In today's fast-paced, unpredictable world, the idea of logos can help us stay calm and centered. When we feel overwhelmed by events beyond our control, whether it's a personal setback, a global crisis, or even just a bad day, remembering that there is a natural order to things can help us find perspective. It reminds us that everything is temporary, and that by accepting what is, we can navigate life's challenges with grace. One of the most powerful lessons we can learn from Marcus Aurelius is how to build resilience. Marcus faced incredible challenges throughout his life: wars, political struggles, personal losses, and even a devastating plague that ravaged the Roman Empire. Yet through it all, he remained calm, composed, and steadfast. Stoicism teaches us that adversity is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced as an opportunity for growth. Marcus wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is one of the most famous Stoic ideas, that obstacles are not just challenges, but opportunities. The very thing that stands in your way can help you grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. In our own lives, we often face obstacles, whether it's a difficult job, a personal struggle, or even larger global challenges. The Stoic approach, as demonstrated by Marcus Aurelius, is to see these obstacles as part of our journey. Instead of getting discouraged or frustrated, we can ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? Every setback is a chance to practice resilience, patience, and inner strength. This mindset can have a profound impact on how we deal with adversity. When we stop resisting the inevitable difficulties of life and start seeing them as opportunities for growth, we transform our entire experience. We become more adaptable, more capable, and ultimately, more at peace with the world around us. Another key lesson from Marcus Aurelius is the importance of living fully in the present moment. In his meditations, He often reminded himself not to be consumed by thoughts of the past or worries about the future, but to focus on what was right in front of him. He wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." This idea echoes throughout Stoic thought, the belief that the present is the only time we have any real power. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, and the only thing we can control is how we choose to act right now. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in distractions, social media, constant news cycles, the pressures of work and life. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us to return to the present moment, to focus on the task at hand, and to give our full attention to what matters most. Living in the present allows us to fully engage with life. Instead of worrying about what might happen or dwelling on what we can't change, we can bring our full awareness to what we're doing right now. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, working on a meaningful project, or simply enjoying the beauty of nature, being present makes life richer and more fulfilling. Marcus Aurelius ruled during a time of great instability, yet through it all, he maintained a deep sense of inner peace. How did he do this? By understanding that true peace doesn't come from external circumstances, but from within. He wrote, "You can be happy if you know this. Everything that happens is an opportunity for you to bear it with virtue." In other words, peace comes from how we choose to respond to the events in our lives, not from trying to control those events. This is a powerful lesson for our modern world. We live in a time of constant change and uncertainty, where it can feel like everything is out of our control. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that even in the midst of chaos, we can find peace by focusing on our inner world, our thoughts, our actions, and our virtues. When we stop trying to control the uncontrollable and instead focus on cultivating inner tranquility, we become more resilient, more focused, and more capable of handling whatever life throws our way. This doesn't mean we ignore the world's problems. It means we approach them with calm, thoughtful action, rather than fear or panic. As we've seen, Marcus Aurelius's philosophy isn't just an ancient set of ideas. It's a timeless guide for living a meaningful, fulfilling life. His teachings on control, impermanence, virtue, and resilience have resonated through the ages because they speak to the human condition. Whether we're facing personal struggles, global crises, or simply the day-to-day challenges of modern life, Marcus Aurelius's Stoicism offers a path to inner peace and strength. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, his words remind us to focus on what truly matters: our thoughts, our actions, and our character. By living in alignment with these principles, we can cultivate a life of purpose, wisdom, and tranquility, just as Marcus Aurelius did over 2,000 years ago. So as we wrap up this exploration of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy, let's take his advice to heart. Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. These words are not just a call to reflection, but a call to action. We all have the power to live virtuously, to face life's challenges with resilience, and to find peace in the present moment. And that, in the end, is the true legacy of Marcus Aurelius.